Monday night. And I gotta tell you, I am too tired for it to be the first day of the week. Well, what did I do today? I went to work. It's a fine day at work. Mostly everybody just left me alone, which is great. I'm kind of hoping the last few weeks have been really, really busy and intense, so I'm kind of hoping that this week is going to be slower. I think it should be. Um, I um, I had an appointment with my counselor, Sarah, today, and I'm going to talk about that more, but I'm going to come back to it. I also had band practice tonight. We've got 3 weeks before our concert, and I actually practiced for the first time in this set list. And practice went really well, I think. I'm really excited for our show. I'm going to continue to practice, and we're really going to blow everyone away, I think, at the show. I get to do a lot of really cool guitar stuff, and I get to sing a couple of songs, and yeah, I think it's going to be great. I'm very excited about it. And I feel okay, a little better than yesterday. You know what I think would help me feel better in general is if I took more time to savor the good things that I've got going on. Because when I take a second and I look at my plants, I look at my plants, and I'm happy to have these plants. Or I look out the window and I'm happy to have this view. I look at the pictures that my mom brought me of me with all of my family, and I'm happy to have them, and I'm happy with the paintings that I've painted, and it's just a lot of stuff. It turns out there's a lot of stuff that I'm very happy with. But I've been distracting myself emotionally so much. I very rarely take the time to think about any of it, and I think it might help me feel better if I slowed down a little and took some time to savor the good things. And that's kind of related to what I talked to Sarah about today. It's kind of related to what I talked to Sarah about today. Yeah. What did we talk about? I told her that I had been really depressed over the weekend, even though I did a lot. And we talked about why I might have still felt depressed, and of course we talked about it having been my birthday and how that might have played a role in the sadness, and I told her about how anything that feels like a landmark or a hallmark or anything like that makes me sad. And of course my birthday is definitely one. And as an example of how much that feeling kind of expands to everything, I got a new toothbrush yesterday, and I needed a new toothbrush, and when I opened it, I cried a little. It's a fucking toothbrush, but it represents, just an everyday life thing that is happening without Gabby, and it really represents how there are a lot of ways in which it kind of feels like everything is just kind of paused right now. There are a lot of ways in which it feels like this is happening outside of normal life. But when you have to do something like buy a new toothbrush, that really kind of drives home that this is everyday life. This is everything. This is it. And so that's very sad to me, right? So I told Sarah about that, and we talked about why, because it was over the last week I was relatively sad. I described it as sorry. I described it as a couple of weeks ago. If we think of my mood on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst I could possibly feel and 10 being like the absolute happiest I could possibly feel, and 5 being perfectly neutral, no feelings positive or negative whatsoever, then for a while I was operating at like a 6 maybe, just on the happy side of neutral, or possibly a 5.5, like not great but fine, and on the positive side of fine. But for the last week it kind of feels more like a 4. Still okay, but on the negative side of okay. And what's more, when I was doing all right and I was at about a 6, there's some variation around that, and especially negative variation, and it would go down to a 2. But for the most part, I would say I averaged maybe a 6, and it would go down to about a 2. So it was this left skewed distribution, to be a bit of a statistician there. But now that it's a 4, it's like it's a 4, and it still goes down to 2, but now it only goes up to 6. So it's like the middle changed, but instead of becoming a right skewed distribution where I occasionally get to feel really good, it just kind of stayed. It just kind of everything just kind of moved down, I guess. So we talked about the difference, the difficulties, differences between having an occasional very bad time, like a short period of very negative emotions, versus a long, prolonged period of slightly negative emotions. And managing those is different. It's a different skill set, I think. Like, if you are just having a 1 hour of very intense negative feelings, then what you need to do for that is make it through the hour, right? That's it. You just need to make it through the hour, but and that can be very, very difficult. But you can distract yourself for an hour. You can just hold on for an hour. But when you have this really prolonged period of slightly negative emotions, you can't just hold on like that. You can't really distract yourself from it, because it's just kind of there. Even if you distract yourself, then any moment that you're not being distracted, you're right back in it. And you can't just make it through an hour, because at the end of the hour, it's still there. So you have to handle it differently. And Sarah asked me why I thought I might be feeling like that, and I described it as the negative feelings that I'm feeling are actually very similar to tiredness. That's kind of what they feel like, when you're tired and you're beaten down, and you just can't, you're just tired. That's kind of what the negative feelings feel like. It feels like I am just tired. And so, and I think that maybe I've kind of avoided them, I guess, or tried to distract myself or paper over it or whatever for maybe as long as I can. And now it's caught up with me, and I am just too tired emotionally. I'm just very emotionally tired. And so what do you do when you're tired, right? You rest. And in this case, resting means learning to sit there in the negative emotions and just be okay. Be maybe not emotionally okay, but like some form of okay with the negative emotions, So that's what I kind of talked about with Sarah today. And I said that I thought it would be better for me if I had more structure in how I handled it. Because she asked if I wanted to like journal or something like that, and I do these. This is a video journal. And I said that I thought it would be more helpful to me if I had more structure, and she said she would see if she could find some kind of worksheets or something that would help me just kind of coexist with the negative emotions. Because that's what we determined was probably the best thing for me right now. That I probably am just incredibly tired from keeping myself okay for almost 5 months now. Wow. Yeah, for almost 5 months now. April, May, June, July, August, 5 months. And maybe I'm just too emotionally exhausted from keeping myself okay for 5 months. So I need to give myself an emotional rest. Anyway, that's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going through. Let's talk about purpose. Things that help me feel purposeful today. Honestly, I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but I look at myself in the mirror lately, and I feel like I look different, and I kind of like some of the differences in how I look. I feel like I've lost a lot of weight, and I'm less physically exhausted. I mean, I'm kind of tired now, but I don't know. I looked at myself in the mirror earlier, and I thought I looked pretty good, and I liked that. And so that's something that I like about myself, and the way that it gives me purpose is that I find myself invigorated about all the stuff that I'm doing to kind of move myself toward the person that I want to be, working out, eating healthy, things like that. Doing the music, you know what, more than the band practice, more than practicing with the band, I love practicing with the band. trade that for anything. And I definitely want to get some kind of music going outside of work. But more so than practicing with the band, practicing alone earlier actually was really good. And it's been kind of a while since I just tried to learn a new song on the guitar, like really sit down and learn it, and learn how to like play all the little bits and learn how to do it well. Um, for a long time now, most of the learning a new song that I've been doing has been very like basic. Learn how to play the song well enough to do it in front of people. But I know it sounds like that should be like a lot of detail in that, but trust me, there's not. But this is like the first today I really spent a lot of time poring over the details, the timing, all the like little things in a few different songs, and different solos that are like a different style than I would normally play, different note choices and things like that. So that I was in touch with music in a way that I haven't been in a while, and that helps me feel very purposeful. All right, let's talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna go to work, and I like going to work. I like going to work. I like the people that I work with. I'm gonna be surrounded by people that I enjoy being around. And if I am lucky, I'm not gonna have a whole lot of stuff on my calendar. I'm actually gonna get to like dig really deep into training models or whatever, and that's gonna be great. But tomorrow I'm really looking forward to improv class. I have improv class after work, and I am very much looking forward to it. Last week, I made a point of being really, really involved in the improv class, meaning I made a point of volunteering for everything. You need somebody to go on stage, I'm right here. I'm first person on stage, and so on. And then I kind of kept that same. That went really well. I think it was the best class I have had in months. It was fantastic. And then I went to the improv jam on Saturday, and I kind of kept that same mindset at the improv jam, and I started a scene, and I tagged into a couple of scenes and stuff like that, and I feel like it went well. Also, I felt good about my own performance in the improv jam. So I'm excited about the improv class tomorrow, and I am excited to once again put myself into it. I don't always have to be the first person on stage. I don't want to hog the spotlight or anything, but I do want to be really involved. I think that helps me when I feel really involved. So that's what I'm looking forward to most tomorrow, is really putting myself into the improv class. It's going to be a long day tomorrow, and I'm going to sleep earlier than usual, which is awesome. So I will let you know how it goes.